The Daily Mail are reporting exclusively that Manchester City are set to sue the Premier League, with the court case starting on June 10th, just 4 days before the Euros starts. We have got so much to get into. So many people have messaged me saying, you've got to cover this. Are Manchester City guilty? Is this Manchester City confessing things? We're going to go through the report. I'm a big believer of innocent until proven guilty. As it stands, these are alleged claims. We're going to break it all down. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you do subscribe. We are 510 subscribers from 8,000, which is absolutely ridiculous considering we only launched this channel in March. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video as well. We're going to be diving into it. Matt Lawton has come out with an exclusive regarding Manchester City. And it says Manchester City launched an unprecedented legal action against the Premier League has sparked civil war among clubs, with a hearing due to start on the June the 10th. City describing Premier League financial results of the majority fall, and this we're gonna get through the story, but just reading that, City describing financial rules as, I mean, this is going to get deep, isn't it? Let's get into the nitty gritty of this. On the link of this now, obviously the report come out regarding Manchester City. When was this? Maybe last September. I want to say last October. The report come out, and when the report come out that the 115 charges against Manchester City is going to go down to a court case, it kind of galvanized Manchester City and really put them into full flow, and they went on to win a treble last season, and this season they've gone on to win a Premier League title as well. Now, we're going to bring up the actual report from the Times. Here it is on their sports section, and the title is Man City Legal Action Sparks Premier League Civil War. And the report says Manchester City have launched an unprecedented legal action against the Premier League in a move that has sparked civil war in English top flight. The dispute, which has become a battle between the most powerful clubs in the country, will be settled after 2-week private arbitration hearing starting on Monday. The outcome could dramatically alter, if I can bring up the rest of the report. I do not want to subscribe. Okay, I can't read that for some reason. But it essentially says it will dramatically change the outcome of Manchester City's 55 charges. Now, when I look at Manchester City right now, this could dramatically change absolutely everything if the Premier League clubs vote. You know, Sky Sports have essentially come out that one Premier League club, as it stands, are on Manchester City's side. Just one, according to Sky Sports. That was a report I read earlier. This says Man City take legal action against Premier League clubs. Under the introduced in 2021, all deals, companies associated with clubs must be independently assessed to be fair market value. Here we go. Those rules regard commercial and sponsorship deals with companies owned as associated with the same owners. As things stand, those rules dictate such transactions have to be independently assessed to be fair market value. Times report that City believe the rules are unlawful. Interesting. And that they want to seek damages for revenue lost by preventions made by those rules. The newspaper reporter Matt Lawton quotes a 165-page legal document in which City argue they are victims of discrimination. The rule was brought in December 2021 as Newcastle were brought by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. The legal dispute, which will be settled in a 2-week arbitration hearing beginning on Monday the 10th. Manchester City are saying that it's unlawful. Now, this could be big ramifications for the future competitive balance of the Premier League. What is it that's being reported unprecedented? We've got a situation. This is what Sky Sports reporter says. He goes on to say what's being reported is unprecedented. We've got a situation where Premier League club Manchester City, the champions of the Premier League, are basically suing the Premier League. What Man City are going to argue is that the arbitration hearing will start on Monday. Some of the league's financial rules are unlawful and they are incompatible with the UK competition law. The rules are talking about the associated party transition rules. They were brought in 2021 and they are designed to make sure that if a club signs a commercial deal with a company that is linked to its owners, that it has to be fair value. So he essentially says, if you're an owner of a Premier League club and you've got another company, say an airline or an energy company, and you want that to be the company to sponsor your club because it's a good way of bringing in revenue into your club, then that deal has to be checked by an independent auditor to make sure it's fair value. You can't just make up a number and say the deal is worth 100 million, 200 million, or 300 million. It's a way of bringing in money into your club and it has to be fair value. But Man City are going to argue that those rules are unlawful. And obviously, this could be a big, serious ramifications for future competitive balance to the Premier League. Now, obviously, there's quite a lot to go through there. But as it stands right now, what he is essentially saying is you can't buy a separate company and use that to sponsor a football club. So, for instance, if Manchester City owned the Etihad airline, you couldn't sponsor Manchester City based on that. They've got to be two completely separate um, companies. Now, there was a report I read earlier that is this Manchester City pleading guilty? Is this a get out of jail free card for them if they try to create a civil war within the Premier League? As of right now, on the 4th of June, I look at it and just think the sooner or later we get to the bottom of this case, the better for the Premier League. How many teams in the Premier League are potentially on Manchester City's side? I don't know. But just my personal opinion, I look at this, I'm trying to look at this without any emotion, just as a football fan. This is not going to be good for future sponsors of Manchester City if this goes down to a big dispute between the Premier League and Manchester City, which it looks like it's going to, as it stands, they are suing the Premier League. You know, what are they going to gain out of this? They are to a degree trying to claim that it's unlawful, and in other words, they're not playing the victim. But from Manchester City perspective, I guess they're probably trying to cover every single angle. Right now, I look at it and just think Manchester City, the court case, I believe the actual court case for the 115 charges is in September, October, or November. I can't remember the exact date. But if they're starting a civil war between Premier League clubs, this doesn't just affect sponsorships. This affects future transfers between said clubs as well. So if Manchester City were looking at getting Elise, or Manchester City were looking at getting this player or that player, it now puts a big spanner in the works. They have to make sure they get this 100% spot on. 100% spot on. You know, they're causing a civil war between the Premier League. They're trying to divide the Premier League's opinion in terms of who are on Manchester City's side and who are not. But as it stands, this is going to get ugly, in my opinion. I don't see a lawful way in which this doesn't get ugly. I think fans will obviously make their own opinion as of right now. You know, we don't know the ins and outs. We don't know what exactly is what's true and what's not true. But as it stands right now, you know, there's a long way to go on this. The court case starts on the 10th. It'll be interesting to see who's on Manchester City's side. There is one source that come out and said it could potentially be Newcastle because they are also going for a similar thing in terms of they own two football clubs and they were trying to force sponsors for in Saudi Arabia. So only time will tell. But right now, I don't see a way in which this does not get ugly. Like, I don't know if the Times are the most reliable source in the world, but you don't just tweet something that's out of the blue unless it's 100% legitimate. Sky Sports also tweeting it out saying that Manchester City are now at war with the Premier League and other clubs. And it's basically you're either with them or against them. Right now, for my personal opinion, it's going to get ugly. And I don't necessarily know if this is Manchester City's cry for cry you know, not they're necessarily saying they're guilty, but is this their cry for help in the Premier League? Or is this Manchester City covering their backside? Who knows? Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you go down, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for watching. I am out.